Well, all right. Hello and welcome to the attic of the Dollhouse for another reading from Grimm's Complete of Fairy Tales. That's right. Hey, are you ready for another Grimm's Complete Fairy Tale? If you are, we gotta set the mood straight. We get them lights off, we get that fire crackling element going. Oh, it's already there, and then we dive in with a little bit of Suzuki or D-Hop. Oh, that's right too. All right. Ooh, slavering a little bit there. Oh, my lord. Hey, what are we reading tonight, you may be wondering? Or not wondering, who's to say? We got a couple shorties for you tonight. And the first one is the Lambkin and the little fish. Well, there was once a little brother and a little sister who loved each other with all their hearts. That's right. And there was a mother, however, who was dead, and they had them a stepmother who was not kind to them and secretly did everything she could to hurt them. It so happened that the two were playing with other children in a meadow before the house, and there was a pond in the meadow which came up to one side of the house. The children ran about it and caught each other and played at counting out. Enoch, Bennick, let me live, and I to thee my bird will give. The little bird for straw shall seek, and the straw I'll give to the cow to eat. The pretty cow shall give me milk, the milk I'll take, the milk I'll to the baker take. The baker he shall bake a cake, and to the cake I'll give unto the cat, and the cat shall catch some mice for that. The mice I'll hang up in the smoke, and then you'll see the snow. They stood in a circle while they played this, and the one to whom the word snow fell, well, they had to run away, and all the others ran after and caught them. As they were running about so merrily, well, the stepmother watched them from the window and grew angry. And as she understood arts of witchcraft, she bewitched them both, and changed the little brother into a fish, and the little sister into a lamb. And then the fish swam here and there about the pond, and was very sad, and the lambkin walked up and down the meadow, and was miserable, and could not eat or touch one blade of grass. Thus passed a long time, and then strangers came as visitors to the castle. The false stepmother thought, this is a good opportunity, and called the cook and said to him, go and fetch the lamb from the meadow and kill it, and we'll have nothing else for the visitors. And then the cook went away and got the lamb and took it to the kitchen, tied its feet, and all this it bore patiently. And when he had drawn out his knife and was whetting it on the doorstep to kill the lamb, he noticed a little fish swimming backwards and forwards in the water in front of the kitchen sink, and looked up at him. This, however, was the brother, and when the fish saw the cook take the lamb away, it followed them and swam along the pond to the house. And then the lamb cried down to it, oh, brother in the pond so deep, how sad is my poor heart. Even now the cook he whets his knife to take away my tender life. Yes, the little fish answered, oh, little sister up on high, how sad is my poor heart, while in this pond I lie. When the cook heard the lambkin could speak and said such sad words to the fish down below, well, he was terrified and thought this could be no common lamb, but must be bewitched by the wicked woman in the house. And then he said, be easy, I will not kill thee, and took another sheep and made it ready for the guests, and conveyed the lambkin to a good peasant woman, to whom he related all that he had seen and heard. The peasant was, however, the very woman who had been foster mother to the little sister, and she suspected at once who the lamb was, and went with it to a wise woman. And then the wise woman pronounced a blessing over the lambkin and the little fish, and by means of which they regained their human forms. And after this she took them both into a little hut in a great forest, where they lived alone but were contented and happy. And that has been the lambkin and the little fish. And now we'll move on to another shorty, Jorinda and Joringel. There was once an old castle in the midst of a large and thick forest, and in it an old woman who was a witch, and dwelt all alone. In the daytime she changed herself into a cat or a screech owl, but in the evening, well, she took her proper shape again as a human being. And she could lure wild beasts and birds to her, and then she killed and boiled and roasted them. And if anyone came within 100 paces of the castle, he was obliged to stand still, and could not stir from the place until she bade him to be free. But whenever an innocent maiden came within this circle, she changed her into a bird and shut her up in a wickerwork cage, and carried the cage into a room in the castle. She had about 7,000 cages of rare birds in the castle. And now there was a maiden who was called Jorinda, fairer than all other girls. She and a handsome youth named Joringel had promised to marry each other. They were still in the days of betrothal, and their greatest happiness was being together. One day, in order that they might be able to talk together in quiet, they went for a walk in the forest. "Take care," said Joringel, "that you do not go too near the castle." It was a beautiful evening. The sun shone brightly between the trunks of the trees into the dark green of the forest, and the turtle doves sang mournfully upon the young boughs of the birch trees. Jorinda wept now and then. She sat down in the sunshine and was sorrowful. Joringel was sorrowful too, and they were as sad as if they were about to die. And then they looked around them and were at quite a loss, for they did not know by which way they should go home. And the sun was still half above the mountain and half set. Joringel looked through the bushes and saw the old walls of the castle close at hand. He was horror-stricken and filled with deadly fear. Jorinda was singing. "My little bird with my necklace red sings sorrow, sorrow, sorrow. He sings that the dove must soon be dead, sings sorrow, sore jug, jug, jug." Joringel looked for Jorinda, and she was changed into a nightingale and sang jug, jug, jug. A screech owl with glowing eyes flew 3 times round about her, and 3 times cried to-hoo, to-hoo, to-hoo. Joringel could not move. He stood there like a stone, and could neither weep nor speak, nor move hand or foot. The sun had now set. The owl flew into the thicket, and directly afterwards there came out of it a crooked old woman, yellow and lean, with large red eyes and a hooked nose, the point of which reached to her chin. And she muttered to herself, caught the nightingale, and took it away in her hand. Joringel could neither speak nor move from the spot. The nightingale was gone. At last the woman came back and said in a hollow voice, "Greet thee, Zishel. If the moon shines on the cage, Zishel, let him loose at once." Then Jorel was freed. He fell on his knees before the woman and begged that she would give him back to his Jorinda. But she said that she should never have her again, that he should never have her again, and went away. And he called, he wept, he lamented, but all in vain. "Oh, what is to become of me?" Joringel went away, and at last came to a strange village. There he kept sheep for a long time. He often walked round and round the castle, but not too near it. At last he dreamt one night that he found a blood-red flower, and in the middle of which was a beautiful large pearl. That he picked the flower and went with it to the castle, and that everything he touched with the flower was freed from enchantment. He also dreamt that by means of which he recovered his Jorinda. In the morning when he awoke, he began to seek over hill and dale if he could find such a flower. He sought until the 9th day, and then early in the morning he found the blood-red flower. In the middle of it was a large dewdrop, as big as finest pearl. Day and night he journeyed with this flower to the castle, and when he was within 100 paces of it, he was not held fast, but walked on to the door. Joringel was full of joy. He touched the door with the flower, and it sprang open. He walked in through the courtyard and listened for the sounds of the birds. At last he heard it. He went on and found the room from whence it came, and there was the witch feeding the birds in the 7,000 cages. When he saw Joringel, she was angry, very angry, and scolded and spat poison and gall at him. But she could not come within 2 paces of him, rather. He did not take any notice of her, but went and looked at the cages with the birds, but there were many hundred nightingales. How was he to find Jorinda again? Just then he saw the old woman quietly take away a cage with a bird in it and go toward the door. Swiftly he sprang towards her, touched the cage with the flower, and also the old woman. She could no longer bewitch anyone, and Jorinda was standing there, clasping him round the neck, and she was beautiful as ever. And that has been Jorinda and Joringel. And also, what was the other one we ran? Not the juniper tree, that's another one for another time. The Lambkin and the Little Fish, from Grimm's Complete Fairy Tales. That's alright. I got a little affiliate link for this book down in the description if you're curious in supporting the Grimm's Fairy Tales and supporting the channel by shopping through that link. Well, you can do what you like, but I would really appreciate it if you did. In any event, that has been us getting back to the Grimm's Complete Fairy Tales. And let me take us out with a little more Suzuki D-Hop, though. All right, hey, are you gonna come on back again for another Grimm's Fairy Tale? I hope you do, but I think I know the answer to that. Anyhow, if you do, I want to say, kisses to your missus and the tip of my hat to your old cat. And if you do come on back, well, I'll be looking forward to it. All right, you have yourself a good evening or early morning, and we'll see you on the next one. Take care of yourselves now.